another episode of Breaking Down the Barriers. I'm Fitz Houston. Hey, today we're talking about a new topic today. We're going to get into a little bit of both sides of the camera. How to shoot an emotional scene. Now, that sounds easy enough, right? But I found out through personal experience that if you have a scene that is really intensely emotional and requires a lot of tears, it is best to film the close-up in this case first, because it's for two reasons. One, we only have so many tears in our tear ducts, and it's a challenge for the actor. Now, if you're at a studio shoot, they probably always say we're doing the cover first and then we move in. Now, if that is the case and you do not get to shoot the close-up first, you've got to match the intensity of the emotions without crying yourself out. So when they say, okay, let's move in and get a close-up, that's when you really want your tears to flow. But if you cry all your heavy tears in the coverage meaning the long shot, then they move in and you have no tears left, you go like, what am I going to do? Now all you can do is feel it as much as you can. There may be no tears left, but at least you're feeling the emotion. See, so sometimes when we see people on camera and they're sounding like they're really crying and they're really into the emotion, which really could be the case. And if they've cried out their tears, that's the most they can give, and there are no tears left. Now, some people have trouble crying, as we talked about in the other video, so that could be a problem too. But I'm talking about when you do have tears available, how to pace that if you are not doing the close-ups first. So I, as a filmmaker, when I'm shooting my own stuff, I always automatically say, give me the heavy stuff first. That's going to be my best tears, the most flowing tears. You try to get as few takes as possible because you can actually rehearse your tears away as well. If you're crying every single take in practice and then you shoot, there go the tears again. No tears left. So you want to always practice and work on getting your prep for your emotions ready for your scene. And so whether you're dealing with a studio shoot, which may not give you the option of your close-up first, or you're doing an independent production, which usually is more flexible in their area, you have to be ready for either one, because you don't know which one it is until you actually meet the director and find out how they shoot. Now, the other part is, if you're, let's say, your close-up is 2 or 3 angles away. Your close-up is the last angle they're getting. Now, if you're on somebody else's close-up, give the emotional intensity of the line, but don't give your tears, because the camera's not even on you. They're shooting the other person who you're talking to, their close-up. So you want to give them the lines and the intensity, just in case the sound man wants to use some of your voice in their close-up. So go on and give it there, so that the actor who's acting with you can really feel and be their intensity on camera, because they're acting off of you. I've had some people say, well, you know, it's his close-up, I'll wait and give my intensity when it's on my close-up. No, you give your full performance regardless of whose angle it is. Now, when I say full performance, in the case of tears, your full performance for other people's close-up is the intensity of the emotion without the tears. The tears is for your close-up, because that's when you really move people. They move in close up on you and your tears are just flowing and the audience is crying with you. So we're trying to preserve your tears for their maximum effect. If you're doing other people's close-up, what do? You match the intensity of the lines so that they can get a feeling of what it's like to act off of you, so they're not having to struggle because you're acting as if you're on camera with them. And that's the best habit to do, regardless of whose close-up it is. Even if the camera is not on you, never say on the set to a director, well, I'll give my best when the camera's on me. Not. Because a really how should I say, professional director, when you say a line like that, that could be your last time working with them, because that's a kiss of death. I'll give you my full performance when I'm on camera. No, you give your full performance at all times. One, the more times you give your full performance, the more you yourself will actually get into the scene and your lines, so that when it is your close-up, you give an even better performance. So that's just a rule of thumb on that point. Now back to the tears. I had a situation where the way I actually learned this lesson was I was doing a project, and there was a father who was really upset about his family, and he was really tore up about it. He went to the church to pray and ask God for help, and so they shot the long shot first. Now, I made the mistake of being so prepped for the scene that my tears were flowing like crazy in the long shot. And then he moved in, zoomed in, and ended up with me on the tears at the end of the scene. But we missed all those heavy tears that were throughout the scene as he was doing his camera move around and came into me at the end. And then he says, "Okay, now let's move in for the close-up." I had some tears left, but then when we realized the 2 takes, he said, "You know what? I should have shot the close-up first, because your tears were like all over the place. That was all. I'm sorry. I'm really." He started apologizing to me because he realized that we have over so many tears. So that's why I'm telling you from the acting side to just be aware of when your close-up is and how not to burn yourself out when it's time for your tears. From the filmmaking side, especially if you're independent and you know you have a really heavy emotional scene where there's 1 or 2 people in tears, or just you just got to have that maximum emotion, it is best to catch that first and then back up and do your coverage and your long shots and all your other stuff that you want to get, because you know you got the heat of the emotions in your early takes, and you got the best performances from the actors in the same way that need to reach that emotional level. So that's basically what this episode is really about, both from the acting point of view and the filmmaking point of view, how to get the best results from a filmmaking point of view of an emotional scene. So that's all we're going to be talking about this particular episode. Tune in again. We'll be covering as much as I can think about, and if you have some suggestions of things you want to talk about, just email me in the comments box, and I'll write that down and come back with an episode on that. Hey, my name is Fitz Houston. Thank you so much for tuning in. We'll see you next time on Breaking Down the Barriers. So long.